Welcome back. This is our second installment on Congress, as well as our second unit, Institutes of Government. In this episode, we will be examining the members of Congress. The learning objectives are that you will be able to, 1, characterize the demographic attributes of members of Congress, and 2, identify factors that affect their chances for re-election. First, the members of Congress must appease their constituents as well as their colleagues in D.C. Therefore, they have to make us at home happy, and they have to make their political party happy. Let's look now specifically at the demographics. Congress as a whole historically has been dominated by white Protestant males with better education. Most of them have come from the career fields of law and business. Since the 1950s, the House has become less white and less male, even though white males are still the majority. The Senate has been much slower changing. For example, Senator Tim Scott, Republican from South Carolina, is the first African American senator elected in the state of South Carolina since Reconstruction. Now, what I'd like you to do is take some time and look at these demographic statistics that I'm sharing with you from the 113th Congress, the 114th Congress, and the present session of Congress, the 115th Congress. As you're looking at them, pay close attention to the number of men, women, which religion is more dominant, which one has increased, which one has decreased, as well as the ethnicity. How has the ethnicity of Congress changed? So pay close attention to the demographics that I have shared with you. Now we're going to turn and look at the incumbency advantage. An incumbent is someone who already holds office and is working to be reelected. As an incumbent, you have an advantage over your challenger. And there are 8 reasons which we will look at very shortly. The advantage for an incumbent is much stronger than the advantage of a senator. Now, the 8 reasons why incumbents have an advantage are the following. 1, name recognition. Voters are more than likely to recognize the name of the office holder over the challenger. And this is possibly because they've seen the name, they've heard the name, so they vote for him. When they go into the voting booth, they see the name of the person who is representing them in the House or representing them in the Senate, and therefore they vote for that person. They know them because they know the name. Name recognition is probably the highest reason for re-election. Second, credit claiming. The office holder may have brought government projects and money into the constituent's district or the state, letting the people know, and then they let the people know what they've done, what they've accomplished for the people of the district or the state. Therefore, they're taking credit for bringing jobs in, money in, making sure bridges or roads get fixed, something to do with the infrastructure. let me give you a hypothetical example. So with this hypothetical example, it's going to help you to think of credit claiming in this way. Say Representative Mark Sanford worked to bring a Toyota plant to Beaufort County, South Carolina. By bringing that Toyota plant to Beaufort County, he's added about, say, 3,000 jobs to the community. As a result of getting that plant in Beaufort County, he would let us, the constituents, know what he did. So he would be claiming credit for bringing the Toyota plant to Beaufort. Third, casework. Office holders help constituents. They help us solve problems involving the government and the bureaucracy. Here's an example of casework. Say your grandmother's Social Security check has not been delivered to her for about 3 months. Your mom or dad, depending on whose mom it is, calls Representative Sanford's office to report what's happened and ask for help in solving the issue. Representative Sanford's staff or himself makes calls to investigate what's taken place. What they find out is someone transposed the Social Security number of a deceased person, thus stating your grandmother had passed away. So the checks that Social Security were sending out stopped. Representative Sanford or his staff calls your mom or dad reporting what has taken place and that your grandmother's Social Security has been reinstated. Two days later, your grandmother has her past Social Security checks as well as the one for this month. As a result, your family sings the praises of Representative Sanford to all their friends, spreading his name and what he did. So once again, even with helping constituents out, we're adding name recognition to the mix. So you can start to see why name recognition is probably one of the most important reasons for incumbents getting reelected. Fourth, incumbents are more visible to constituents. Members can use perks of office to communicate with the members in their district. Franking privilege is an example of one of these perks. What the franking privilege means is that Representative Sanford, Senator Scott, Senator Graham can use the U.S. mail by using their signature as postage, thus providing communication with members of their district or state. Also, they can hold meetings, or they're invited to speak at meetings or schools and share what's happening in D.C. and how that is affecting us, the constituents. Fifth, media exposure. Incumbents are more than likely to gain free publicity during a campaign through the media. Also during time in office, depending on what committee serving, or if they're a chair of an important committee, such as Ways and Means, or they're chairing an investigative committee, such as Benghazi. That will get them in the news. Here's two examples. Senator Graham, Republican from South Carolina, has been on nightly news, cable news networks, and Sunday morning talk shows discussing President Trump's actions. Whether those actions have been positive or negative, the bottom line is Senator Graham is getting media exposure, whether it be an election year or not an election year. So once again, that's bringing forth name recognition for Senator Graham. Representative Trey Gowdy, Republican, South Carolina from the upstate, has been on the news a lot, especially during the Benghazi hearing, because Representative Gowdy chaired the investigation for the Benghazi issue. As a result, people not only in his district in the upstate of South Carolina knew his name, but also throughout the state and the nation. Name recognition plus media exposure. These things help the incumbents get reelected. Fundraising, which is our sixth reason. Generally, an incumbent is able to raise a greater amount of money for their war chest. The war chest is the amount of money that they will use for their campaign. A challenger can't raise as much. Once again, as part of the name recognition, we're willing to donate money to that person who has done something for us, such as the casework, or they've brought something big to our community, such as the hypothetical example I gave you with the Toyota and Representative Sanford. So as a result, we're going to give money to their campaigns to help them get reelected, whereas the challenger, they haven't done anything for us yet. And as a result of them not doing anything for us yet, why do we want to give them money? Well, we may want to give them money because they believe the same way we do. But the incumbent is the one who's going to get the money. Seventh, experience in campaigning. Incumbents have already gained experience in campaigning. How to deal with the media when the media is asking them questions. How to deal with what I call the peanut gallery, or the people that are making snide comments. How to drink water and speak to the constituents in a town meeting to tell them more about themselves. They've already done these things, so it's natural for them. Whereas somebody who's new to campaigning, they're still fumbling over their words, their actions, and it's really hard for us to want to vote for them. Finally, the eighth reason, their voting record. Voters can evaluate the performance of an incumbent based on how they voted on issues. Have they voted with us? Have they voted against us? Are they having the same views you and I have? Are they our trustee? So they're truly representing us. With the internet, it's become so much easier for you and I, the constituent, to look up our representative and senator's voting record. In the 2015 presidential primary, Senator Marco Rubio, a Republican from Florida, missed about 90% of voting due to trying to obtain the Republican nomination for the president. Well, the people of Florida made this an issue at the time. However, this was not a big enough issue not for Senator Rubio to not return to the U.S. Senate for the state of Florida. You and I can find voting records via the internet by going to such sites as votesmart.org, govtrack.us/Congress/members, or even numbersusa.com. These are just a few sites you and I can go to look at the voting record of our representatives and our senators in order for us to see if they are doing the job we want them to do. Thanks for joining, and remember, if you have questions, write them down to ask in class. And I'll catch you on the flip side.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.